So in the previous clip, we talked about the different information requirements, or the OIR, the AIR, and the EIR. Now in the next set of slides, we will be talking about the information delivery. That means it will be this area, okay, in the this BIM for information framework, where we are talking about the BIM project execution plan, the project information model, right? The asset information model. Okay, yeah. Now in this area, okay, which is actually during the the project delivery this stage where you have the designers coming to do the design, then finally the contractors and coming to construct. Okay, so that's why the activities, if you like, under this area, they are all deliverables. That means it will be something that is produced. Okay, so for example, the this BIM project execution plan, okay, is a document, okay, to explain in detail how the project team plans to meet the requirements specified by the building owner, okay, in the form of the employer's information requirements, okay, and typically it's delivered, and it means created before the project starts. All right, and then after that it goes on to the next stage, which is the project information model. Okay, also that is actually a progressively developed information model. Okay, so when we say information model, we are talking about in a way it's a digital file, okay, where the different trades actually put in their design input and output. Okay, the architectural design, the structural design, the M&E, so on and so forth. Okay, all right, so we call that a model lah. Okay, yeah, and it can include the BIM or non-BIM related information. BIM related information typically will be geometric information. Okay, all right. Non-BIM basically is a non-geometric information, okay, across the project life cycle. It could start as early as the project feasibility stage. Okay, or along the way you will progress down to the coordinated design model, then after that construction model, and finally becomes the as-built model. Okay, so you will need to be delivered at the different project stages or milestone at different level of detail. Remember the LOD that we talked about? Okay, so at different stages of the project life cycle, you will need the model to be created or delivered in sufficient detail so that the stakeholders downstream can take it to do their related work. All right. Then after that, you also have this the asset information model lah. Okay. Also is the information model including BIM and non-BIM related information derived from the previous models. Okay, that will support the ongoing maintenance and operation of that particular asset. For example, the shopping center or the hospital or the dormitory, so on and so forth. Okay, and typically it will be delivered, okay, to the owner or this operator during the project handover stage. So in the next few slides, I'll be going into more detail, okay, all these different models, okay, all models. Let's start with this BEP, which is a short form for BIM Project Execution Plan. So the BEP is a document prepared by the BIM manager and maintained. That means it's updated, okay, and revised along with the project progress as a live document to explain in detail how the project team plans to meet the employer's information requirement specified by the owner, right? So in the information delivery strategy, the consultants and the contractors should propose the following. At least you will define, okay, the roles and responsibilities of the parties and the individuals for asset information modeling and the management of the project. You define the processes and procedure to collect, coordinate, and deliver asset information. You define the process to validate the accuracy of the models. You define the process and procedure to share the asset information model among the project team members and the different parties. and you define the procedure on the quality assurance process in terms of the data, the model, and any associated documents. Once the execution plan is created and the project actually starts, the different stakeholders, the consultants, for example, or even the contractors, may start to then create make use of a common model or to create their own model in order for them to start on the project. Okay, so that is where we call it the project information model stage. All right. So the project information model is an information model developed during the design and construction stage of the project. All right. So using this BIM execution plan as a standard and procedure guideline, the project information model will evolve from the most initial concept design to the virtual construction model to support the construction stage activities and delivered as an asset information model during the project handover. So that is to say that initially, the model could be something that is very, very simple during the feasibility stage, all right, this concept stage. But once the designers, the architect come in, the model then becomes more built up. It will show the architectural intent. Then the structural engineer come in, he will then have to model the RC element or the steel element, for example. The M&E services come in, model all the your conduit or your these pipes, so on and so forth. And when the contractor comes, the contractor will need to produce fabrication or shop drawings. Then the model gets even more detailed. So because we are using VDC, for example, so build twice, right? Remember, so the first time that we are building is virtual. So there will be a lot of coordination between all the different disciplines when we are building it virtually. And the second time we are building it will be the actual, right? So that's why throughout the different stages, the model will become more and more complex. And finally, when the building is completed, it's handed over to the end user. So we hand over this 6D BIM model, or sometimes we call it the as-built model or the asset information model. So project information, for example, BIM data usually evolve. That means it will continuously change, update, and be revised when the project progresses from the initial conceptual design stage right until it is completed the operation and maintenance stage. Even at that stage, it continues to evolve because the things will suffer from wear and tear. Right, so the evolution of the project information model will generally go through the following stages. It will start from the very initial concept design stage, and finally, as the project commences or continues, it will then go on to the coordinated design BIM model, and the model gets revised, and updated, and more information is included. The LOD increases further. Then it becomes the construction BIM model, for example. And finally, when the project is completed, it becomes the 6D BIM model, or sometimes we call it the as-built BIM model. And you include this asset management system, then it becomes the asset information model. So when we talk about this project, this information, this model, actually, we are talking about the information that we are packing into the building in a digital form, and that information, can be used by different parties in different ways, but finally, it needs to package into just one centralized model. And when the physical construction of the building is completed and you have managed to obtain your TOP and your CSC, and the building can be used, then there will be a handover of this digital model to the end user. So that goes into the asset information this model. Alright, or sometimes we call it the 6D BIM model. And the intent of this model is a digital data you can imagine it to be a very, very big file, okay, with a lot of digital information that is packed in the digital manner into this file. And the purpose of this particular very big file, we don't call it a file, we call it a model, okay, or is to allow the day-to-day operation, okay, or the routine maintenance, okay, for the end user that is going to physically manage that building, okay. So this model will definitely include the architectural, the design intent, okay. It probably will also include your structural, the model inside. Okay, when we say structural model, what we are saying is that, okay, if it's going to be a RC column, for example, what is the size of the column? What is the rebar details, for example, of the column at different locations, different level, okay? So it will definitely also include the key things like this ACMV system, this electrical system, okay? Maybe this telecommunication system, so and so forth. There are a lot of informations that we will be packing into this model. So all this information, sometimes we also call it model. So from the architectural point of view, we call it architectural model. Then you have a structural model, mechanical, electrical services model, so and so forth. Okay. Now all these models that we pack in, okay, does not only include the geometrical information. It will also include the non-geometrical information. For example, the fire rating, okay, of the door, for example. Okay. The requirement for the next change, okay, of let's say a particular service, for example, okay, all right. So it includes geometrical as well as non-geometrical information, and by the time it gets handed over to the end user, we will also include, for example, the operation and maintenance data for different equipments. Okay, typically these come in the form of PDF files. Okay, or the TNC data, any other data set and all that. Okay, that actually is incorporated into the 6D BIM model. So as mentioned, the BIM deliverables usually consist of geometric informations, okay, and non-geometric informations. Yeah, the owner will need to understand that the more detailed, okay, the object is, and therefore more information that is packed inside, the bigger will be the file size, and the longer it will take to load the model. So sometimes you over specify the information that you want into the model, it will obtain, okay, an unnecessary information at an inflated cost, incur higher BIM maintenance cost during the operation and maintenance stage. So you can also have non-BIM deliverables. Okay, they refer to additional asset information such as the document, database, or cloud storage to be handed over to the end user as specified in the contract. So this information, they are not part of the BIM model, but they are essential for the day-to-day operation and maintenance. Or for example, terms and conditions, the O&M documents, they are not embedded into the BIM element, but typically it's a link, okay, or link so that the documents can be provided. So this type of information will usually be consumed later by a computerized maintenance management system or computer-aided facility management system or building maintenance system. Yeah. Conventional practice of consolidating the asset information has been insert them into the BIM as an additional attribute to the drawing elements. But it can create two problems. Okay, firstly, the timing of the compilation of the asset information does not synchronize with the BIM development. Further, it might be necessary to go through multiple revisions of the asset information as part of the verification and correction. So in this case, BIM must be modified repeatedly, and that could be costly. Yeah. And secondly, today's O&M practice requires much more details, okay, about the asset than conventional assets management system. So some of the information changes with time and needs to be updated frequently. If they are maintained as a BIM data, you require the BIM to be modified more frequently. Third area of the framework will be talking about the information exchange. Yeah. So you can see the traditional way of information exchange is quite inefficient. Okay, so typically we will try to go for what we call a common data environment, or CDE environment. CDE is a central repository where the construction project information is stored and shared. it not only keeps the asset created in BIM environment, but also keeps the documentation related to the asset. We'll talk about that in other presentation later.